Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today, after the craziness of the past week and a half, I finally got around to playing Convoys mode. Well, actually a couple of days ago, it's just that now I'm finally making a video about playing Convoys mode on the PT server. Unfortunately, by the time I'm recording this, the session for this go-round on the PT server is unfortunately ending today. So the day I'm recording this, not the day it's going up. I record these videos normally a day or two in advance of their release. So anyway, I'm going to share my thoughts about the mode with you guys, what I thought was good, what I thought needs some work, and just a general overall impression of the Convoys mode, which, if it does get added, would be our first new mode in ever. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. So Convoys, how does it work? Well, on the PT server, it was at tier 8. And if you guys don't know, the way the PT server works, once you log into it, it transfers over pretty much everything from your live account to the PT server in most cases. There's a couple of sessions every now and then where Wargaming doesn't want you to have access to everything and they just want you to play certain ships to test out this, that, or the other. But in this case, all my ships are transferred over. It was quite the racket opening up the PT client and hearing 200 and something ships get added to my account all at once. It was quite loud and scary. But anyway, so it's at tier 8, and the way convoys work is that there's a defending team and an attacking team. The defending team must, of course, escort the convoy to the exit location from the map. So kind of like they're just guiding it through a sector of, whatever ocean this is simulating or whatever. The attacking team either has to sink all 4 convoy ships or sink the entire enemy team in order to win. However, the defending team only has to get 1 convoy ship through to win. And yes, CVs are allowed in this mode. More on that in a minute. So, in the clips you're watching right now, 2 are on the defending side, 1 is from the attacking side. Now, in terms of the, I'm not sure actually what clip you're watching first. In terms of the convoy ships themselves, they kind of just do their own thing. Once they go, they go. And this kind of brings up my first issue with the mode. At least on the one map we had to play on, it was the same route over and over and over and over again. I'm not sure if they include this into the main game, if they will vary the route per map. I imagine that they will. But I think a better solution would be to have like maybe 2 or 3 routes per map to kind of mix it up a little bit, because if it's the same route over and over again, then it's pretty easy to plan and prepare for whatever's going to happen on that map. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can get stale pretty fast, and adding in 2 or 3 predetermined paths would kind of spice things up a little bit and add more playability to each map. But anyway, these ships, they do their own thing, and what's really interesting too is they gave these convoy ships a couple of abilities. Some of them will pop smoke, some of them will heal themselves a little bit, some of them, well, all of them have secondaries that will fire too, and plus these aren't your normal on-rail convoy ships. These guys can actually dodge torpedoes, and they are surprisingly good at it. When I played this through for the first couple of times, I thought they were just like the scenario convoy ships where they just derp all around on their on-rails paths, but no, these guys frickin' dodge. So that's beyond relieving. And they are surprisingly tanky because they're so thinly armored. Most battleships, and I think even most tier 8 cruisers, except for some of the light ones, will get just a ton of overpins on these ships, which it is very much appreciated when you're having to defend these things with your team, especially some of the teams you might get defending these ships. But anyway, so all you have to do if you're defending is get one of these suckers through, which is surprisingly, I was expecting the attackers to win every time, but turns out, and this is what surprised me, the times that I played, it was actually pretty even, and I don't know if that's a fluke for me, or if one side has been absolutely walking over the other side, kind of like with the Axis versus Allies mode, but it was a pretty nice spread when I played, at least. It was roughly 50-50 either way, but it did depend a lot on your teammates. There is certainly a higher need for teamwork in this mode than in random battles. And that's saying a lot, because you really do need a decent amount of teamwork in random battles for your team to win, or you're seeing matchmaking to dump all the highly skilled players on your team and all the low skilled players on the other team. But again, you still need some modicum of teamwork in random battles to get it through and get a win off. But in convoys, you need a lot more. So the defending team, of course, all they have to do is get one shipbook through. That's all you have to do. However, there are some players that I was playing with on the PT server that they just want to turn this, objective-based game mode into just another random battle, just another random death battle. They want to go and sink the enemy ships. They don't want to stick with the convoy and escort it through. Now, don't get me wrong. There certainly is strategy in definitely leaving the convoy and going out and acting as a buffer away from the convoy to try to deal with the enemy ships before you get to it. But then there's some people that take it too far and try to hunt down the enemy when they're clearly withdrawing from the engagement. When it would be nice to finish off that ship, but we don't need to sink them to win. We just need to get these ships through. We don't need kills to win. We need to get these ships through. If we need to kill the enemy to get these ships through, sure, but you don't need to go chase off a 3/4 health battleship just because you're in a DD. No, you need to stick with the convoy and act as a buffer against the other ships that are waiting up the route to ambush the convoys right before the end. Your DD torps are very, very, very useful there. But that, of course, is going to happen no matter what. I've played plenty of Overwatch. I know people are going to go do whatever when you're trying to push the objective. So how can we fix this potentially? Well, I think they need to add in some type of either XP boost or game mechanic boost for staying near the convoy. Now, again, you don't need to be all stacked up on top of it, but maybe having one or two players stick behind to, of course, act as a last line of defense against the enemy team that's pushing it is definitely a good idea. And many times that I played the convoys mode, that is exactly what happened. One or two friendly ships were able to stay behind to the convoy and just protect them just enough to get at least one ship through to their exit route, and that's all we needed to win. So maybe adding in, you get a certain ribbon for staying within a convoy for every 40 or 100 seconds, maybe, like a defense ribbon. There are some achievements that you can get that I, funnily enough, got in Graf Zeppelin of all ships, where if you eat a torpedo for the convoy or act as a meat shield for the convoy, you actually get an achievement called, I think it's called, Metal Shield or something like that. Clearly a nod to Meat Shield for eating damage in lieu of the convoy eating damage. I thought that was pretty funny when I got that the first time. But yeah, more stuff like that to encourage players to stay near the convoy and protect it. The attacking team, they need coordination too, of course. They need a plan when they're going to ambush the convoy or take them head on or things like that. So if you do get around to playing this mode whenever it comes on the live server, make sure you communicate with your team to make sure it all goes smoothly. So that's all I really think needs to happen to the defending side. They did a really good job with programming the convoy ships themselves in terms of not just being a bot that sails in a straight line and eats crap. They can defend themselves a little bit with their secondaries, but anything more than a destroyer is of course going to not care about it, but it is there, so that's kind of nice too. And the models for the convoy ships are actually updated. They didn't just take a model from one of these 3 or 4 year old scenario battles and plop it in this mode. It looks like they actually redesigned them or reskinned them at least, and they look quite nice. So from the attacker's point of view, the attackers actually have a really, really, really easy job. All you gotta do is sink 4 of these convoy ships. That's it. But of course, if your team's not using communication and planning together, you're not going to win at all. Because again, all the defenders need to do is get one ship by. But the attackers have several opportunities along the way where there's some pretty close quarters, there's some nice channels and such, where either your DD or your cruisers or heck even your battleships can easily ambush the convoy, and that's what the defending team needs to try and play against. So it's a really fun mode. I had fun playing this mode. Is it the most fun I've had in the game? No. But it is a breath of fresh air that this game so desperately needs. A new mode that's unique, hasn't really been done before. We've done it against bots, but we've never done it against players. It's what we need right now. It's what we really need right now. We've had standard battle, domination, and epicenter forever. Arms race comes and goes as a special event. So I mean, who knows if it's ever going to get here. And Axis and Allies, we had that once and that's it. Now, what I think they may be doing, and this is actually a pretty good idea if they do this, Arms Race, Axis versus Allies, and Convoys may become part of a second game mode. Because like we have random battles as a game mode, we have co-op, we have ranked, we have clan battles, and sprints. I'm thinking these three modes may become their own game mode. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it may be a rotation of Convoys, Arms Race, and Axis versus Allies. Who knows? I think it would be a good idea if they maybe rotate these modes out every week, and we have our mode of the week, where, you know, for 1 week it's Convoys, next week it's Axis versus Allies, the next week it's Arms Race. Arms Race is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in Arms Race, and I always say this when Arms Race comes back. It's a really fun mode. Delves more into the arcade side of the game, but it's really fun. You can get some pretty stupid builds working quite well in Arms Race, and it's just a bucket of monkeys. It's so much fun. Axis versus Allies is good for the history buffs that want to see, you know, strictly nation-based matchmaking, and it's kind of neat to see, but also kind of painful because yeah, the Axis turns out at tier 8 they didn't have much of a navy. And of course, Convoys mode is a nice objective-based game mode that's a little bit more tactical. Well, actually, a lot bit more tactical than random battles and such. And if they put these three together, I think it'll be a nice kind of place we can go to get a break from the base game. Also, Convoys, perfect mode for subs. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't have subs on the PT server, so we could go and play these Convoys modes with subs. You know, the things that the subs actually did for most of the war. That would have been mega cool, and who knows, that they may be planning to add them in later on whenever Convoys comes to the live server. So overall, Convoys was really fun for me, and as you guys have seen from the background footage, it's pretty fun pulling off some different tactics and stuff. Like, I guess I'll probably be playing the Graf Zeppelin one right now, but I played Graf Zeppelin not really for the airplanes, but just for the fact that I wanted to have, you know, this amazing secondary platform moving with the convoy and also acting as an AA barge for the enemy team's CV, and it worked. I'm surprised. Graf Zeppelin, you know, best cruiser in the game, got 3 flavors of spotting aircraft to go with it that can, you know, kind of drop a little bit of ordnance here and there, but, you know, Graf Zeppelin, best cruiser in the game. But yeah, it was really fun. I'm really hopeful that this mode will get tweaked a little bit more, and then maybe we'll have another PT round or two, and then it'll come to the live server for maybe an event or something. It might actually be coming out when subs come out, because again, this will be the perfect mode for them. But of course, it's not going to be limited to just this mode. That's wishful thinking. They're going to be throwing random battles as well. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the Convoys game mode. If you got to play it in the PT session over the weekend, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 30,000 subs, just past 28,400 a few days ago, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.